It's an honour and a privilege to be standing here and being able to present to you today. Since its introduction, the purpose of formal education has always been a hot topic for debate, and often the subject of internal musings of those within and outside of the field. In the age of the search engine, these debates and theories, past and present, are readily available to us in the form of quotes or scholarly articles or even memes. As I started out in teaching almost 16 years ago, the following words from the great Nelson Mandela very quickly encapsulated my why, my reason for being in the field. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It's clear from the conversations that I've had in the last 16 years that this why is shared by many, if not all, of those who are lucky enough to be part of this noble profession. From this shared starting point, pathways diverge and lead off in many different directions, as this why is translated and applied in many different learning contexts. My pathway, my application, and what I'm here to talk to you about today is centered upon helping children understand that the human family is beautifully diverse, and yet we are very much connected by our humanity and shared values. The writer, thinker, and civil rights activist Maya Angelou said that it is important to teach young people early on that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. When Maya Angelou said this, she was referring to the role of parents, but I felt as though Maya was talking to me, to us, to all those who teach with a moral purpose. Someone once said, "Scratch a good teacher and you'll find moral purpose." Well, you often scratch when you have an itch. A couple of years ago, I was itching to try something different. This itch was centered on diversity education and what Maya was directing me to do. Luckily, I found others who were itching too. Our pathways converge at an unlikely place. Chance meetings with a couple of head teachers, subject coordinators, at an Art Smart course, which is a quality standard for schools. As we discussed our respective schools, we highlighted the need for our pupils to broaden their horizons and how we could collaborate to make this happen. But broaden horizons in what way? Well, we recognised that our schools were very monocultural. The pupil demographic of my school is mainly Asian British, with 98% of the children being Muslim. The surrounding area is almost the same. The demographic of my colleagues' schools is mainly white British, from a Christian and non-faith background. Together we saw an opportunity to forge a new pathway pertaining to diversity education, one that we travelled down together. We decided to teach the lesson that Maya had suggested. A long-term project was born. The three schools involved in this project are Gleeblands Primary School in Leicester, Bourne Westfield Primary Academy in Bourne, Lincolnshire, and my school, Charnwood Primary School in Leicester. What pedagogical approach would be used to deliver Maya's lesson? We had the lesson objective, but what about the delivery? As school leaders, we reflected on our pupils' characteristics, race, religion, catchment, and identified a need to broaden horizons. We understood that this was done to a degree, in an abstract fashion, through a strong RE program and cultural awareness days. However, we agreed that to teach the beauty of diversity at a deeper level, there was no substitute for making human connections. At this point, we were very helpful that our pathways had converged. It was our belief that the most effective way to teach this lesson was through schools linking up and allowing our pupils to have shared experiences, not just remotely, but in person. This led to pupil collaboration days being planned, where children will work on art and RE projects, while also learning about each other's lives. We felt that this approach to diversity education is more vital now than ever before, since our understanding of the other is shaped not by experience, but sometimes by a form of negative osmosis via the media machine. As well as being inspired by Maya Angelou, another phenomenal woman who inspired me towards this work was the late Joe Cox MP. Joe said that it's important to recognise that our country has been deeply enhanced by immigration. Perhaps it's our moral duty to teach this too. Joe believed to her core that there is more that unites us than divides us, and she was killed for her beliefs. Her legacy is in the More in Common hashtag, which has been carried forward by many individuals and groups to counter the forces that would seek to cause fractures via a narrative of hate in the very fabric of our society. So, what did this work look like in practice? Well, Glebland School expressed an interest to visit a local place of worship, a mosque in our area. So we invited them to come along because we'd already planned that trip. But not just come on the trip, but spend the entire day with us. Gleblands then reciprocated and organised a visit to their school. Pupils worked on the Red Cross Pillowcase project, as well as going on a nature walk. At the mosque with us, pupils were asked to get their sketchbooks grouped together with children from a different school to theirs and sketch features of the mosque that interested them. This allowed them to work on their social skills and step out of their comfort zones. Once we were settled, we eavesdropped on their conversations. They discussed Arabic calligraphy. What does that say? I can read some words, but I'm still learning. They discussed shading techniques. Ooh, that's nice. How did you do that? Here, let me show you. They discussed, yes, you've guessed it, football. Ronaldo or Messi? Jamie Vardy. During our visit to Gleblands, children continued to build on their relationships, becoming more confident in asking questions, not just about pillowcase designs, but also about beliefs and their lives outside of school. The learning in RE, SMSC and art was clear, but the powerful learning took place in the moments of interaction, which are summed up wonderfully by two statements overheard during the collaboration days. A pupil running up to her teacher and joyfully expressing, Miss, I've made friends with a Muslim. And at another moment, during a paired art activity, a young man staring curiously into the face of his newfound friend. Hey, you've actually got blue eyes. That's amazing. That's the beauty Maya was talking about. We marveled at what a simple initiative gave our pupils in terms of qualitative outcomes, and we were determined it shouldn't stop there. Recently, we visited Bourne in Lincolnshire. Powerful collaboration is infectious. At Bourne Westfield Primary Academy, we were once again fortunate enough to witness the power of putting pupils together from different backgrounds. The pupils worked on Islamic tiles, samba, hip-hop, painting pebbles, and painting their feet. Yes, painting their feet. They were doing feet printing art in the shape of a butterfly, which we thought was a great pictorial representation of diversity. Next time you plan a school trip, why not get children from another school, a different school, to join you? So what are the outcomes, I hear you say? What are the outcomes of this type of work? Well, there's the development of questioning skills. Does your hijab have to be black? There is a great joy in hearing children's questions rooted in curiosity, non-judgmental, not loaded, the questioner and one being questioned both at ease. There's also an understanding of how empathy moves beyond tolerance towards respect. But to hear the real essence and power of the learning that took place, let's hear from the stakeholders. These are some of the things the children said about their involvement in the project. During my time on the project, I learned that everyone is the same. No one deserves to be judged or left out. The visit to Gleblands was an amazing experience for me, and I made many new friends. At Bourne Westfield, I learned that we have different teachers but similar uniforms. When I started talking to my new friends, I realized how much we have in common. We are all one and united. That's what I learnt. We are all British children, and we need to work together to make a peaceful world. That's children leading the way. There were parental engagement outcomes too. Let me read you a part of a letter I got from a parent after the visit to Bourne. Dear Mr. Patel, I am writing regarding the school trip to Bourne, Westfield Primary Academy. In my view, it was a great idea. It showed my daughter that there are different people in the world and that we should get along with everyone and we should integrate with different faiths. That's the strength Maya was talking about. Was this a one-off? No. A parent also wrote, my son came home and had made a new friend. Maybe these new ties could be further encouraged as pen pals. So we did. Our pupils now receive letters and cards from their newfound friends, allowing deeper connections to be made and new learning to take place. After our visit to Bourne, Elaine Radley, the head of Bourne Westfield Primary Academy, wrote me an email beginning with this quote, in the long history of humankind, those who collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. To prepare children for life in modern Britain, we must give children first-hand experience of modern, diverse Britain. Recently, Ruth Sinhal, a teacher from Leicester, who worked with me on the Gleblands project, launched Unite Ed, a project to link schools across the region to build friendships and overcome prejudice. Collaborating locally can help us understand that we are, in the words of Joe Cox, far more united and have far more in common with each other than things that divide us. But how will we know this unless we meet? Thank you very much.